In this video, I will be showing you how to use the update neighbor method, which results when one of the sides has a block change. As a bonus, I'll also be showing you two types of chat types, depending on the time of day. Hello everybody, my name is Christian Quick, and welcome back to another video. So to get started in today's video, we're going to take the dry cotton that we have, and we are going to be calling this a sleeping fire. And then once again, we're going to call this a sleeping fire. Fire. And we're going to add a hardness of -1. If you don't remember what this does, it simply just makes a block completely unbreakable by hand. This is actually what they do to make bedrock unbreakable. Unless you're someone in the game who just wants to break that. But we're going to make a new Java class, and we're going to call this neighborUpdate. And it's going to extend block, and then we're going to make constructor matching super, and then this is a set method, so we can just call neighborUpdate like this one, and this is what we are working with. So let's take what are today's goals. So basically, I want to make a block that will get the time. And then I want to basically say if it is daytime, I want it to basically explode. And then if it is nighttime, I want it to basically text to player no, basically. And we can start with the variable world, because world is our best friend. And we could literally just say get time of day. And put a little semicolon at the end. And this is going to be our get time of day. Now, get time of day is run in ticks. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to call for an integer. We're going to call this integer x, and it's going to basically equal that world get time of day. And it's going to say, hey, there is a problem. Well, I know that this is written in ticks, but what's the big deal? So if I hover over it, it's going to tell me that I've provided a long, and I require an integer. So I say the integer. So I can either say long, and that'll be fine, or I can ignore it and say that I seriously want an integer, and then we could just reestablish that this long can be changed into an integer like this. If you didn't know, there are 24,000 ticks every day in a Minecraft world. There are 24,000 total, so that means the day is half of that, so that would be 12,000, while night is also 12,000. So to separate those two things, we can simply just say that our integer x is world.getTime of day, and we're just going to divide that by 12,000. Now here's the thing. It's going to divide it by 12,000, but now how are we going to separate the time for what it is? So now we have this very large number. And knowing that it goes from ticks, so it's gonna say 0, and then it'll be 100, and then it will be all the way, 600 would be noon until it reaches 12,000. 12,000, all the way until the day ends. So we know anywhere between 0 to 12,000, we want it to display basically our number, which is going to be x. And then we also want to separate that we want from the 12,000 all the way to 24,000. This is going to be night. So to separate this, we divide it by 12, and so we know that when we divide it by 12,000 every time, this is going to start at 0, then this is going to be 1, then as day 2 starts, it's going to divide by the 12,000 again, and then this is going to be 3, this is going to be 4, this is going to be 5, this is going to be 6. So what we know is that this is going to be all of the odd numbers, and then the other part is going to be all of the even numbers. And when you have an odd and even, and you want to switch back and forth, there's a very easy way to fix this. This is like having two if statements, which could be used as a Boolean, but this is normally how I type it out. So I'm going to say if, and I'm going to have the alternating number that I want, which is going to be x, and I'm going to say %2 equals 1. And this is going to be half of it. So this is going to basically be the result of all even numbers, And then we are going to basically, we can just copy this, and then we can simply paste, and we can say if this does not equal 1. And this is going to cover basically result of everything else when we write it by that. However, what we really want is the result of all odd numbers. So that is a big difference that we have. So like I said, now it is separated, and I said if it is the daytime we want to explode, and if it's nighttime, tell the player no. So we know that the nighttime, like we said earlier in our result, I know I kind of got rid of it just now, but we know that this top one has going to be the even number. So and that is going to be nighttime. So nighttime, we're going to tell the player no really much. We can do player or world dot get server dot get player manager dot broadcast. We can have a broadcast to message, so this could be, I mean, we could literally just say no, but for the sake of the video, we're just going to say this block is asleep. There. It's not asleep, it's asleep. And then now my message has a problem because it basically says, do you want overlay? We could say false. And then it's going to say, hey, this is a problem. Your message is wrong. You have to use wrap text of, and then simply bam. Now that part is finished. And then here we want to have an explosion. If you don't know how to do an explosion by now, I'd be quite surprised. Let's take our is block nearby? No, it's our on block added. So we're going to take the method from here, Control C. And then we are going to go into our neighbor update, Control V, and now we have our world get explosion, and we could probably tell the player something if we wanted to as well. And then we could say after, because it's going to explode, this block has woken up and combusted. Just like that. And then just for the fun of it, let's make this one true. Just so that you can see the difference in what overlay does. However, now we have basically our method. Actually, that should be everything. So with that in mind, let us make sure that, don't want to do that. Let's make sure that everything is in here. Now you can probably compress the code. If there's any extra spaces, you can get rid of it. But right now, this is practically as good as it should look. I normally would compress it more, but for technical purposes, you should do that. Let's change our sleeping fire block to the neighbor update block that we have here. And then make sure you put everything on our side stuff that we've done in previous videos, and then we can start our world. Now we are going to create a brand new world because this block probably, you know, as always, does explosions. And another thing that I want to mention is there are 4 kinds of broadcast. This is the first video that I've mentioned a broadcast that we're going to be using, where it's this kind of broadcast is going to take from the server, and then it would tell all clients on the server. There are 4 kinds, and eventually I'll probably talk about all 4 types, but in this case, that's just what kind it is. It tells an event, and that's what it does. But for the meantime, here we have our sleeping fire block. I can place it. And what is neighbor update? We put all this code in a method called neighbor update. Neighbor update simply means that when the block gets on the site, so let's make it /time set night. And then if I put it on here, it's going to say this block is asleep, this block is asleep. So it's when something gets near it. And then if I put 2 of them, it'll probably do it twice because, well, that's 2 blocks. So it's going to do that. And then if I do /time set day, and then we're going to do the same thing, kabloom, and then you can see how it came up on here. So the difference is you'll notice that it said the block was asleep, and the overlay was set to false, meaning it will send it to the chat. But when you set the overlay to true, it's going to tell you straight away in the coolest way possible, this block has woken up and combusted, and then it goes away. So that is a really cool chat to have, and is my personal favorite broadcast. I usually use text.literal for a lot of things, but usually it's just client-side, so that would just mean like whoever you specifically are would go to. But the way that we have the server.broadcast, it will literally set that to every single player. I just realized that my Minecraft, the sounds are not on. That is perfectly fine now. I do know that everything is working just fine now. So we do have our sleeping fire. And, well, that's practically that. It basically checks day and night. You've learned a little bit something about broadcasting, and you got to see how I switch even and odd numbers with the remainder. That's what the percent does, is the remainder. So if you have any odd numbers or even the odd questions, hopefully I can answer them in the comments below. But that is going to wrap up this video. So thank you guys so much for watching, and without further ado,